He's grabbing something off the printer.
Wait for Joe. That's the issue. How long is it gonna be?
I don't know. Maybe we can get going. He's there because of me. My fault.
Everybody turn their mics on. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag and the to the republic for one Missy, roll call, please.
Fritz,
Here.
Tanya, here. Becky, here. Libby, Brian.
Here. I declare we have a quorum. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Ready? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from June 5th?
I make a motion to approve the minutes for June 5th as written.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All righty, new on business, Kevin. Is that Primeau or
Primeau.
Primeau? Thank you. Mercy Road, submittal of a special event application for community worship night to be held Sunday, October 1st, 2023 at Landmark Park.
It's Ken Primeau, not Kevin.
Ken, okay.
Typo.
What's your name?
Ken.
No, he said it's Ken.
I'm here.
It's wrong on that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Ken. Okay. We'll make a change on the minutes.
This is an event that we had done last year in September at the same park. So very similar event that we want to do. And it's all the churches in Fortville coming together. So Fortville Christians Unite is the name of the organization. And so it's that evening from 5 to 6, we do outdoor music and a teaching moment. And then 6 to 7 is kind of the after party with some bounce houses, food trucks from local food vendors. And we hang out for about an hour and then tear down. So the event's about 2 hours long.
Do you have any questions? Yeah. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the event?
Worship night.
Second, anybody second? All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
sorry.
A special event, what do you need to ask permission?
Just in case they're serving alcohol or anything into the park, just in case they need barriers or they need to have portalets, all that stuff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And with this, we would plan on having porta potties available for the event. Yeah.
Where we at? Okay.
Dan seconded.
Somebody second it?
We already did.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. All right. Crystal asked, Mount Vernon football boosters, come on up. Hey.
Hello, Crystal Altstadt. The Mount Vernon football parents are requesting to have permission
to hold our annual bingo fundraiser at the park this year at the community building. This event we hold annually, and the purpose of the event is to help feed our sports team. So the money raised will feed the kids. We do a Friday night dinner for all dressing football players. And then also we have meals for the freshmen and the junior varsity team. Whenever they travel, we provide them a sack lunch. And this is where the funds are used for that purpose. We're also requesting to have alcohol at this event where we will, we'll be able to provide that with a licensed caterer to provide that alcohol as well. We typically have the event at the high school, but that's why we're looking at bringing it outside the school.
Okay. Do they need to still fill out one of these, even though they're having it in the community center? No. Okay, all right. Any questions? Any public comment? Sometimes I forget to do that. Okay, can I get a motion on the event?
I'll make a motion to approve the alcohol at the community center for the high school football team bingo.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
And we're also, I don't know if this needs to be separate, but we're also requesting a discounted rate. I thought that'd probably need to be a separate request.
Okay.
I believe it's a rate of $3.25 since we're a nonprofit and we're just requesting a discount on that rate.
What is the discount rate for the nonprofit? For nonprofit.
I think you're asking for additional.
Yes, please.
So there's not a set for an additional that you wanted to.
You want to make a motion, or should we figure out exactly? It's 25% off the 325.
That is the discount. That's
Oh.
325. What hours are you using it?
The event is typically on a Saturday evening from, I believe it's 7 to 9. And then we would need to have a few hours to set up with tables and just getting the catering set up and things. So if we could request even a 50% discount off of that 325, it would be helpful.
50%.
I don't feel it. Mm-mm.
I don't.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll find it here, sorry. The Mount Vernon boosters cost. I have alcohol, keeping the alcohol, so I make a motion just to give them the discounted rate at 50% off at 325. A second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just to be clear for the record, that was 50% on the 325.
There's 250.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who made that motion?
Becky and Tanya seconded.
Thank you.
Okay, Vanessa, 219 West Garden Street, request all allow chickens on residential property. Come on up.
Hello. Hello. Yes, specifically, I'm requesting laying hens, no roosters. So a small quantity of laying hens, about 4. I have a picture of the coop that I've built.
Thank you.
As you see, it's more of like a luxury condo complex for poultry. So as I'd mentioned in my letter, I moved out here from a small town in Massachusetts where I had hens for about 6 years. And out there, just about everybody has hens. You know, you can barely drive home from work without passing like 3 or 4 houses with hens. So, you know, it's pretty straightforward, fresh eggs, I've already had a request to donate the manure for compost for the community garden and for other purposes. And my neighbors are all super excited about it. I collected a couple signatures just after work today, but you know, not many people are home just between then and the meeting tonight. I have neighbors whose children are homeschooled. They're excited to bring their children over to, you know, learn about all of that. So that's pretty much it.
You say you got signatures from your neighbors?
I did, yes. I've actually checked with all of my immediate neighbors, and they all agreed with this. And then the letters that I sent out per the request from the town, you know, they were all to, you know, the people who live there aren't necessarily the people that the letters went to. So, I mean, I've gone and I've asked every single person and they all agreed, but just tonight it occurred to me to go and actually get some written signatures.
Yeah.
And so I do have a couple of written signatures just of immediate neighbors.
Miss, you want to take those as records, please?
Thank you.
So my one neighbor immediately to the other side, the McClintocks, they just weren't home and they said they'd be home soon to give me their chicken scratch signatures, but they didn't get home yet by the time I left for here, so.
What's the current regulation now? Like,
You just have
you're
to
just not allowed to have it, or?
You're not allowed to have it, but you can ask for a request, and the reason why we did that is protect the neighbors.
Sure.
Because I don't know how, I think, do we give a 1 year or 2 years? She's got to come back every year or every 2 years. Just in case the neighbors start complaining, you're not a good neighbor after you get the chickens, and that's why it's in place.
Right, that's
Not to
understandable.
discourage people from having chickens, just to make people behave and do the right thing and clean up and give the neighbors some kind of voice if there's ever a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's fine. And
I was just bringing him and the people up to speed why
Thank you.
we did it that way.
yep, and myself and my two immediate neighbors, we have kind of large plots of land. We each have about 0.6 acres, so it's
Yeah.
very kind of spacious, so.
Adam, did I hit it right on the?
Yeah, I just want to mention that the regulation is actually coming from the town code. And so it's not in the zoning ordinance. It predates the zoning ordinance that we use today. So I'm not, I remember going over the various rules with Ms. Battaglia to make sure she got notice out to the neighbors in accordance with that section. In terms of the need for an annual renewal, it could certainly be in there. I just don't recall.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
unfortunately, I don't have a copy of it handy at the moment,
I
but
would say it was if there was any kind
We could take it.
of
away.
complaint or something from the neighbors, then they would have to come back in front of us.
could very well
I
be.
can't remember how it was.
Yeah, I
worded.
don't, I'm sorry, I don't recall either.
That sounds
I
familiar.
didn't-
That makes sense.
The last one that we approved, the people ended up moving before they even got their chickens. So
That was my next question is, have we approved it before?
Yes, we've done it twice now.
She's still here. Yeah, the second one did it. She's not. The first one never got it.
So it's a trend.
Yeah.
It's fashionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any public comment? Okay.
Curious about this code, ordinance. I am familiar with it, I did read it. And what's to stop people from doing this in other neighborhoods? And.
They still have to come and get a variance or come to,
Not a variance,
not a,
It's the town code.
it's the town.
yeah.
So anybody that lives in the town.
And
Okay. I misspoke.
what I'm trying to present, I've been here for 3 months, and you know what I'm. Got neighbors that aren't taking care of. I'm confident you will take care of your dinner. But what's to stop somebody from doing that in another neighborhood?
Us.
They still have to,
What happens is it's created that there's those opportunities. We're gonna have ordinances. You even said it the last time I was in here. They need to be enforced. Why have an ordinance if you're not going to?
The people will let us know, I'm sure, if there's a problem.
So.
Neighbors will-
Lawrence, Still there, right?
it's a guide, it's the guide for the person that's having the chickens to do the right thing. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're gonna do that, but if they don't, then I'm sure their surrounding neighbors will let us know.
Well, why have order?
Why have an
So
ordinance?
that somebody has to come to us.
They have to come to
They
us.
can't just do it.
You're making somebody accountable.
The ordinance comes to state, cannot.
Yeah, you cannot do it, but you can come and ask the town council for exception.
She's doing.
That's what she's doing. Yes, as long as they come in here and fill out and ask their neighbors if it's possible and get signatures. Hey, can I do this? That's why you had to come in and ask to have the chickens.
The potential taking. Given it, taking.
I trust, based on what's gone on at recent meetings, I trust neighbors would complain.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Just to clarify, pulled up the
Yeah.
ordinance. One of the factors that the council can consider is the term, the length of time that the exception would be granted. And so you have it within your authority to say, hey, we'll give it to you for a year. And if there aren't any complaints, then it'll continue.
Okay.
That's where it's come from.
Okay,
That's
okay,
how
I
we
knew there was
handled
something in there. Okay.
the last two.
So when you make if we make a motion, you put in there a time and then go from there if there's no complaints, okay? All right. Any other public? I probably should do this where people need to come up to the mic. If you're gonna rebuttal or say, you need to come up and state your name, because what's happening right now on these people that are coming online, they can't hear what they probably could hear Andrew, but sometimes people are soft spoken in the back. The people on the internet can't hear. So we'll do it that way. Any other public comment? No. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve Vanessa's request at 219 West Garden Street to have chickens.
Did you want to put a time limit on that? Or leave it as?
I think we should.
What do you want to put it?
I think 1 year. I think you should have to
1 year,
renew it every
come
1
back.
year. That makes sense.
1 year,
Okay.
and then we'll see you again.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda, Mark Eldridge. Vernon Township Fire Department Chief submitting the 2024 Vernon Township Fire Department budget.
Good evening, it's Mark Elder, I'm Fire Chief of Vernon Township Fire Department. And I'm going to ask to defer to our financial advisor, Michael Reuter, who is on Zoom, to do a little bit of explanation about the process for this year's budget, if I could.
Maybe he's there.
Well, we can take a look here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize for not being there this evening. I had a scheduled trip. This is a bit of an unusual year. I do not normally attend with Mark when he presents his budget annually. But this year we have a unique situation that we're trying to better position ourselves for what's called a 3-year growth appeal. And so the fire territory was established in 2021. And for the last 2 years, we have been appealing for the 3-year growth factor, which allows us to collect a property tax consistent with the growth in the assessed valuation for Vernon Township as a whole against our what's called the 6-year non-farm personal income factor. And most recently in 2021, or excuse me, in 2023, we qualified and were approved for 108,000. But due to some significant growth in assessed valuation over the last year, our factor has increased significantly to 1.1548 compared to last year of 1.0804. And our appeal amount has gone from 108,000 to 444,000 for 2024. And so in a typical year, this is a pretty straightforward appeal. But this is a unique year because of that significant growth. And there's concern that the Department of Local Government Finance will be taking a closer look at the growth appeals for 2024. And so what Mark is presenting to you this evening is a budget that is significantly higher than prior years, but it's to appropriate the cash that we have available, again, to better position ourselves for this appeal. The DLGF has subjective authority over the approval of the appeal. And so even though we do qualify for this, we still have to get through their hoop. And as I mentioned, this is something very unique. Tanya heard my presentation to the Fire Territory Board. I presented 2 fiscal plans this year, which is unusual. I presented a fiscal plan with the appeal. And then I presented a fiscal plan that was comparable to last year's appeal. And so what Mark is presenting to you this evening is a strategic budget, not necessarily the budget we plan to spend, but we also have a working budget that will be in alignment with the revenue that we actually anticipate for 2024 once the appeal is approved. So it's a very unusual year. We're actually 2 days short of getting some legislative guidance from the Department of Local Government Finance, and I hope they focus on this appeal. But it is a little more concerning this year as we approach that. We will not appeal this until actually October, but timing requires us to go through the Fortville Town Council and the Town of McCordsville Town Council prior to all the guidance that we anticipate. So we will report back, but it is a bit of a timing issue that we don't have more guidance on the appeal at this time. But Mark, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the appeal, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions for follow-up.
Thanks, Michael. Just as a reminder, the way the Vernon Township Fire Territory budget process works is I present a budget to the Territory Board for their approval, which occurred last week. And then we bring it to both town councils and the Township Advisory Board, and we're in that phase right now. We met with McCordsville Town Council last week. They did approve the budget. And so the budget I'm presenting for you this evening is for $5,693,544. Of that, 72% or just over 72% will go to personnel salaries and benefits, 6% for supplies, 12% for contractual services, and 10% or just under 10% for capital outlays. Like Michael explained, if we get the growth appeal or any amount of it, we're going to use that money to hopefully towards start the purchase of an aerial truck, which we so desperately need in Vernon Township. But we'll also be raising our personnel's pension base, which is a competitive market right now all throughout the state. And so we're still going to be underneath the area, but we're going to be getting closer so we can keep our personnel. And we just did lose 2 personnel to a Hamilton County department. So the fight is on, I mean, to keep our people, and we want to keep our people because we have invested so much into them. So with that, I would ask if you have any questions about our budget that I can answer for you this evening.
I don't have any question on the budget, but just the fire truck is the McCordsville fire station big enough for the fire truck, or does it have to be at Mount Vernon or Vernon, or no?
Both stations are equipped to handle that ladder truck. We would do it now, if and when we get one, let me be more optimistic, when we get one, we'll do an evaluation of where our structures are at that are most commonly going to be in need of that type of truck and make a decision based on that. When the time comes.
Thank you. Any questions on the budget?
I'm curious as to how your salary compares to where do the guys go, Noblesville?
So they did go to Noblesville, and I don't think that's one of the ones. I know they're in the upper 70s, if not 80s. Here's the ones I have for 2023. Sugar Creek is at 71,160. So let me back up and say that if approved, our pension base will be 68,500. So we're still 3,000 under Sugar Creek. Greenfield right now is 72,247 for this year. I don't know what it'll be next year. Buck Creek, we are in line with right now. Brownsburg, getting out into other counties, are at $74,883. Decatur Township, 72,000, and City of Lebanon and Boone County is at just under 75,000. So we're trying to build that every year. It's gonna, and I don't want to do it all at once because making sure we're using good use of our taxpayer dollars and not having 1 year be able to do it, the next year having to, oh, sorry, we can't give you a raise, or even worse, not even being able to keep that amount of people. So we're doing it strategically and responsibly and slowly. Thank you.
Any public comment? Can I get a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the Vernon Township Fire Department 2024 budget of $5,693,544.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, council to consider our first reading of ordinance number 2023 ABC. Do you have a number for that or a letter for that one?
I don't think it has to. June? I have to go back and look, I'm not for sure.
Have Andy start filling that in.
Got the minutes from the last week.
You did something at the RDC meeting that resolution.
Okay. Okay, a rezone of Vernon Township property at 602 Vanity Drive from commercial neighborhood to industrial. Oh, Vitality, sorry.
All right, this particular item is a pretty straightforward request. The Vernon Township would like to add a fire department training facility on the south end of their property. There's also been talk and hopeful relocation of the library to that site. And we became aware that the zoning on the property is still commercial neighborhood from when the property used to be a medical center. So just primarily so the fire department will have the flexibility to create the type of facility that they need to create back there. It makes sense for the whole property just to be zoned institutional, which is what the property is used for. So first reading is just this introductory reading. From here, if you at least adopt first reading, then it would go to the Plan Commission at the end of this month for their review and recommendation, and then it would come back to you all in July, right? July for your, yes, July for second / final reading. So with that, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them. They are also looking for a waiver of the rezone fee, since they're a government entity.
So this is so right now everything in red will be rezoned to that, right?
Correct. Yeah, it includes the fire station, township offices, and then, and all their property that they own there. Yeah.
Any public comment? Okay, can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-6A. Change of zoning classification for Vernon Township property, the southwest corner of Broadway Street and Vitality Drive.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Council to consider approving purchase of a Fortville Police Department new police vehicle. Steve?
Yeah, it was come to my attention that I needed approval above and beyond what was given through our budget. Approval of the budget for the vehicle that I previously purchased. And then I needed to bring bids to you guys, but it's the state government bid for the state of Indiana for Ford. So I guess I'm trying to backdate this is what I'm being asked to do for the purpose of making sure that I'm following the purchasing policy. Everything that we purchased in the past 10 plus years, minus the 2 Dodges that we've received, were done through Don Hines Ford on the government sale price, government price concession. The 2 Dodges that we've had, I've as long as I'm cheap, I promise I won't buy a Dodge product because we've already had one blown head, and the other vehicle that we received has been in the shop for vehicle flooding with a couple inches of water in the floorboard. And Chevys are all over $50,000+, and that's not responsible of taxpayers' dollars to be spent for that, just for a Tahoe. So I'm asking to backdate the purchase of the vehicle that I picked up last week and the one we picked up about a month and a half ago at the request of the town manager.
Okay.
So if we could get approval for that, the sales invoice is here if anybody wants to see it. It's clearly stated at government sale on an ordered vehicle. Sale prices include government price concessions. But I didn't get the 3 bids as requested in our purchasing policy. I didn't do
Only
it.
says 2 in there anyway, not 3.
So that's on me not to do.
What is
It's 45, 9, 47, 25. $947.25. And that's what the other one was also, if I remember correctly. This is just most recent one we picked up. I didn't dig through the files to find the other one because they're the exact same vehicle, just a different VIN number.
So does this, so anytime he purchases vehicles, then it has to go through you, or anything that's over the $10,000. He has to follow this purchasing agreement.
Yeah, the purchase agreement. The purchasing agreement are different. Different
Yes, I
amounts
got it,
in
yeah.
there that need to be approved and signed off on. I'm supposed to sign off on all of them. But most importantly, just because there's a number in the budget, you know, if there's $100,000 put in the budget for vehicles over the street department, those numbers, then, as you know, anytime we purchase vehicles, street department, we'll go out and get bids, bring them back, and you guys approve a little bit, and the deal with their contract with Big on High for $45,000. That's what we received. So we need that for the record. That's one of the things that state board would monitor, because they want to make sure that those are being reviewed by the council.
So it's clear to say anything that's been prior approved through the budget session still needs to come to you.
Needs to come to council. Well, most everything comes through me to sign off on all invoices. The town council, anything over $10,000, they need to.
Right. And since it was 45, I thought I just needed the council approval, which we received in 10/17 of 22 when Beth presented the budget to the council, but
Just having, you have to go through and get the bid, have to
So that might be true, but when you look at this organizational chart, it doesn't look that way. You know, because I pulled this out, and looked at it. So this puts, I mean, Patrick is outside of all of this. So I guess I don't understand. Shouldn't he get the approval from the Board of Commissioners and then they come to you with this? Is that, I mean, what's the,
Certainly, that is one way that it can be done, I mean, I would think that the Board of Police Commissioners would want to weigh in on it
I
when,
think we already have. I mean,
but then that comes to the council as the fiscal body of the town. And so, like Joe was saying, passing the budget just allocates the money there. You still have to go through the statutory process and follow the town's purchasing policy to actually use that money. And so that's what we're trying to just clean up tonight, and then on moving forward
but this
basis, have it.
didn't report to you.
Well, it would come up, well, Joe's town manager, and so he's your administrative arm. And so like Joe said, he looks at all the pieces of it.
You look at that's in the handbook here, it doesn't look that way. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying, for somebody.
Handbooks. That all is council and is me being.
And then where it would come up is on a state board of accounts audit. Yeah, they would see that, red flag it, and then we'd have to respond to.
Because of the purchasing agreement.
Well, and also just state law and having to, how you go about getting bids.
Okay.
If the purchasing policy wasn't in place, you approval for everything. So that actually gives us a little bit more leeway where we can spend and operate on a daily basis around every.
Just want to make sure I understand.
Now, for the record, anything above 5,000 to 10,000 goes to you. Anything above 10,000 goes to council. Is this correct? Okay. And this was 45,000.
But even $10,000. If anything.
Okay.
But then in-
Seems redundant.
You would bring it to us,
Oh, he could bring it to you as well, but that gives me the opportunity to look at it and make sure that everything is being done
okay,
and the process.
okay.
And redundancy is that's the whole purpose of it. I mean, that's what the state wants to see and what the taxpayers should be able to see, that there's, checks and balances and a redundancy and multiple sets of eyes,
Sure.
independent eyes outside of each office reviewing things.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve the 2 vehicle police purchases made previously. I don't know what the dates are. Do I need to know that?
The most recent one, I picked up after your approval at the last council meeting. It was dated on 6/1 of 23. But we didn't pick up the vehicle until after the meeting that following week. The other one was in April. I can get you the documentation for that if you'd like.
Do I need to have that on there in the motion? I don't need, yeah, we're just, yeah. I make a motion to approve the purchases of the 2 vehicles for the police department.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose? The ayes have it. Thank you. All righty, old business. Council to consider allowing or prohibiting a dumpster in the public parking lot between Main and Merrill Street for Tone Salon.
Hi, how you doing? Good evening, everybody.
What was your name? I'm sorry.
Kimber Chapman. Sorry, I was just about to say, I want to introduce myself. I'm Kimber Chapman. I'm the owner of Tone Salon. That's located at 110 South Main Street. We've been technically in the building since November of 2020, but opened up our larger space in December of 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a dumpster. And I understand it's causing some feathers. So first, I want to apologize for any like miscommunication that has happened in like the crossfire between the person that I lease from and everybody here and myself. So I feel like there's some miscommunication. So I'd love to, get it out of the way and come to some sort of compromise agreement on
Okay,
that.
I think all we're looking for is something in writing where you guys have to, have some permission to be
Yeah.
in that slot.
And that makes
I'm
sense.
gonna let
I shouldn't
Alex-
have just assumed that there was permission based on the person who told me there was,
Okay.
And of course, the most of us out of the 7 of us, we live in 5 minutes of the area. We love being here. I started my business in Fishers and, all of my clients love coming to Fortville and spending their money here. So we'd love to stay here long term. I don't know if we'll be in that exact space forever, but, we definitely don't want to cause any problems for the town, for sure.
Well, see, in this photo, it's already showing a car that does park there in that position.
Yeah.
So that's why, the reason why it's brought up is some people in that area were like, oh, we're taking a parking space.
And parking, we know, especially on, dinner time, we always say it's dinner hour in Fortville when our clients are like, oh my gosh, it took me 10 minutes to park. I'm like, it is dinner time in Fortville. So, and then weekends, we know there's events and stuff and it can cause some congestion. We know that as I also want these other vehicles to have space for their stuff too, but there's other vehicles that tend to park there for long periods of time. And, when we put it there, we were like, well, there's no lines there that make it a parking space. And honestly, when we did see we saw 2 cars get sideswiped in that spot because that is such a narrow alley and trucks there's like drink trucks and stuff going in through there. So our dumpster has been clipped before. And we've seen 2 cars get clipped before. So we know that's super narrow. We just never visualize it as a legal parking space, and whether people park there or not legally is not my business, but we just never saw it as that. So, when I was talking to Lindsay about it, he's like, well, you have no other options, just put it there. And of course I said, okay, because I'm just, I'm listening. So, we just don't want to ruffle any feathers. So we'd love to get something in writing if that's what's being asked.
You guys, you probably can't get a smaller container than what you have.
Yeah,
That's the
just
minimum,
with,
I think.
right. And how much chemical waste there is. We had considered talking as a team about just keeping something inside and then maybe moving those containers outside. But because it is a salon, we use, really clean lines, but it's chemical waste. So we want to make sure that the problem with a residential container would be if somebody did get into it for whatever reason and got, that sort, like there'd be a liability issue, which we don't want as well. So we did put a lock on it only to prevent that from happening. But honestly, most of the time it remains unlocked because if somebody's got a McDonald's bag they want to throw in there coming out of their car, I don't care either way. I just want to try to prevent as many measures of that chemical waste getting spread as possible.
Sure.
Is this what we're talking about right here? No, what are we talking about?
Right here.
Oh, there's a car there now.
Yeah.
Right there.
Well, I went and looked at it. I didn't think it was a parking spot either.
Yeah.
Because it's not lined up or
Right.
anything. I didn't see a
It's kind of
problem.
weird. Yeah.
And it's got a very deep pothole in
Yeah.
there. So if you can maneuver, and again, we've seen 2 cars get sideswiped and that's just in the time that we've been there. But it is just so narrow through there. If you drive through there now, you'll see even our like overhead light over the back door has been hit by a truck. It's just, honestly, I think a safety issue to have cars there most of the time. We understand if there's like an event happening, then it gets a little congested.
There
But
really is nowhere.
I don't think we have
Yeah.
a problem with the dumpster. I think we just need to get it, what Alex needs to write up some paperwork. for
I
you.
agree.
And I suggest once when we redo that parking lot, you might have to get some different wheels.
Yeah.
Those wheels are super skinny
Hmm.
and they're just gonna tear up the parking lot.
We-
It's just been moved around. You'd have to have different wheels.
Yeah, we'd love for that.
Yeah, really.
Adam,
I'm gonna let
proposed, I mean, I know we've talked about enclosure before and having it. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, I'd draw up the terms.
they
for
would have
what
to have
the
a-
council would like it to be, And obviously responsibility for maintaining it.
Yeah.
keeping it Clean and.
Which honestly, when
Present
I
it.
was talking to Adam about it and when he brought that up, I was like, I think that's honestly a really great idea. Because we want to take 100% responsibility for anything that happens with it.
I don't think you want any more obstruction there that's already there now.
No, it's
By putting
probably.
something
Yeah,
in that you're
to
not
be
gonna
honest,
be able to do.
I don't have
Yeah.
I don't have a strong thought one way or
I think
the
it's one
other.
of those situations. You're in you're in.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of choices, so I think we need to leave it like it is and not make it harder to see around that corner.
I agree, yeah.
Or for trucks that are coming down there too.
So how do you want to write that up for agreement from her to the town?
It's really just an approval with council's conditions, so I can put it together and then have it, you to sign off on it the next council meeting.
Okay.
Can't we
And then
make
just
a motion?
formalize it.
I think that the only thing that, like I said, is the wheels would have to be changed to a different wheel. Because if you look, it will sink down into the. Either.
I don't know if they have a choice of that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Depends
They,
on the
well, no,
carrier.
no, the Legion or the VFW has a different dumpster with the bigger, softer wheels.
Same trash company.
That's what I'd say. If it's a matter for shopping for a different
Yeah.
trash company, I'm sure that.
Cause some are
yeah.
standard for some trash.
Yeah,
companies.
it would just. There again, it'll just get torn up, so either they put new wheels or have to pour a concrete pad there. That's the only two options. Cause it would just start digging in once when we put in a new parking lot. But we can work that out later.
Yeah, I'm
That's
fine
not
with
a big
that.
issue.
I don't see that as a humongous issue.
Okay. So I put that on next month's agenda.
Yeah, so
Or do we?
did you want to
Just
just
make a
formally
motion.
make
Okay,
a motion
that's
to
fine.
approve it and subject to like a liability agreement and
Yeah, terms and conditions.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to allow the dumpster in the public parking lot. With any conditions that. Our attorney sees fit, I guess.
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Butch Milner, Mount Vernon Optimist Club. Decision of the community center invoice for the basketball rental.
Good afternoon. I think this is my third trip here, so I practically know you guys, but we're just asking, I brought a check tonight. So we've got a bill for like $8,100 that we wholeheartedly disagree with. And but I did bring a check and we want to stay on good terms with you guys. But much like the boosters, we like to also ask for a discount. We're not pocketing this money. This is going back to kids in our school community. We don't understand the different unit fees on that bill. Some of them are $75 we pay for that gym time. Some of it's $100, some of it's $150, and some of them it's $325. So I just get lost shuffling that money. But the bill that we have is something to the tune of $8,137. And our last board meeting a few days ago, our treasurer signed a check over for me to give to you guys tonight, and I'm in hopes that it can be reduced a little bit. And I also have a copy of that bill if you guys don't have one handy. So that's the old business. The new business brings us to the athletic fields, much like we don't understand the unit fees charges there. The baseball fields over here, the softball fields, they got practice time with lights, $25. Is that per hour or per day? Because sometimes per practice. So if a guy holds a 2-hour practice, he's getting it for $25. If he holds a 1-hour practice, we have to pay $25. And then the next practice time comes up. And then we also see games with lights, practices with lights, which we will not practice under lights. But occasionally we've had games under lights before. We talk about rainouts are coming on paragraph 2 of that agreement. Rainouts come on a first come, first served. If we get rained out, probably other people are going to get rained out. And I'm assuming we're talking about the travel teams renting the facilities down there. And I've been assuming that if they're traveling very far, they probably aren't going to want to come back in 4 days or something because they'll be in another tournament. Paragraph 3 in that talks about a failure to comply. And paragraph 4 goes on, it talks about that we have to repair minor damage to the field. We're not the only guys using that field. Neighborhood kids come over and play with it. People are out there, travel teams are out there. So we're trying to decide how minor damage we're talking about. A load of dirt every year on the field and rake it in or whatever it needs. So we understand either party on paragraph 6, either party may terminate without cause. Once we set our schedule and we start playing ball in the first week or 10 days of April, I hate to say we're in concrete then. If you're going to cancel us, cancel us before we go that far. And the same with us. But I would say terminating like that sounds awfully strict, I would think. But again, our concerns are also when we do that, are we out of the loop then? We don't get a separate water bill. We renting from you guys. You guys are going to cover the water and the electric bills. You guys are going to be responsible for the restrooms, porta potties if they're needed, because we're renting from you. So we just need our clarification on those paragraphs about the athletic fields. But good news is I got a check for you tonight. I want to leave here making everybody happy, but
Did you, on those changes on that contract, did you guys write those up? Have you sent them over to us email yet?
no, we haven't. And
Those
I
were supposed
haven't.
to be sent before we voted on them though, and nobody sent anything.
Yeah.
Nobody said nothing. You
Well-
guys were all copied on the email.
No, we weren't all copied. I wasn't copied and I gave you my card the last time I was here, make sure I'm on the list and I didn't get anything. So I get it when Steve copies. So I'm on the board. I've been on the board for 43 years. I did not get a copy list.
You sent you for changes and for your
Well-
comments and nobody made any.
Again, I didn't come to the last meeting, but I was at the 2 previous to this. And I told Fritz, Steve has got 3 more months left as president. He raised his hand and he volunteered. And so we have a new incoming office. Our terms go from October to October. And I'm the guy that's going to write the checks because I'm going to be the trustee, the treasurer starting in October. So hopefully we don't get through the quibbling about this, but sorry about any inconvenience, but I did not get, and you can go back and check your email. I'm not on there. Steve finally said, oh yeah, I see you're not on there. So he forwarded it to me day before yesterday, I think. So we're just trying to be good citizens, good patrons of this, but we're out here. I didn't even know what Optimus was 43 years ago when I joined the Optimus program. It's their whole creed is friend of youth. So we're here for the kids. We're not here trying to snicker something out, but you guys are operating on a multi-million-dollar budget and we're operating, I hate to say on nickel dimes. Sometimes we get up to $40,000 or $50,000 in our bank, but poof, it goes right out as soon as we got to pay for supplies and pay for this stuff. We went 20 years out here. I see a guy over here that was on Mount Vernon Youth Baseball Board with me a long, long time ago. And everything was free. We played Optimus basketball at the schools out here for free. Schools got in trouble and now we're paying you guys more to rent that facility than we paid the schools to use 2 schools. Doesn't seem fair. So we do use gyms over there, but we're just looking for help and we can't raise our fees like travel fees do. And we don't charge kids $2,000 to play ball. And again, we talked about this at a couple of meetings ago that we have a percentage of kids and usually it's 8, 10, 12 of them that they're single family. They can't pay for their sports and we call it scholarship money. We used to ask for people to each team put one person to work the concession stand. Nobody wants to do that anymore. I mean, we're almost paying people to work things that we used to all do for free as part of the neighborhood and part of the community. So all we're asking for is I'll be glad to write you guys a check tonight. Maybe we can vote on that. But if you gave Mount Vernon boosters a 50% discount, we'd be tickled pink. We'd be tickled pink, maybe 25% discount. So, but we think we're paying way too much money. And I don't know what the unit difference charges are for that community center.
What are the different unit charges?
Hours.
Is Well, the hours look the same.
Yeah,
if you
they're
look in
half
here,
day, half day or full day.
Is that what it is?
it shows the hours, Thank you, shit.
Was that the regular rate or the discount rate?
3 hours, 155.
Everybody.
3 hours, 325.
Difference is in the times, basically.
Yeah.
That's the difference in the price. I didn't,
I'd be curious about the unit price difference also, because, I mean,
This is a discounted rate already. So they're already receiving a discounted rate.
Got a copy of the bill. if anybody-
Yeah,
we all have it. Yeah, we're all looking at it, yeah. Cause I mean, I see, like he was saying, I see like a 7-hour rental for $150 and then I see like a 3-hour rental for $150. So I don't understand what the difference is either. So I know where he's coming from on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has to do with what day it is. Like if it's like, I don't know that. Right. So I'd like to know a breakdown of that too.
like the $75 one was for an hour and a half. The $100 one was 2 hours. All the rest of the 150s are 3 hours. Your Saturdays are from 8 to, well, that's 8 to 3, basically all day. For the 325. So it's the time that makes the difference in the amount.
This relates back to the calendar, how many hours people have.
I thought what was in question here was the Saturdays.
Saturday's obviously a long day, so sometimes we might either have practices at night or we sneak a game or two in during the Thursday, Friday, maybe, but a lot of people
Well,
don't
what
like
was
to
said
do that
before,
because
you
they get,
guys didn't use it for any Saturdays. Is what we were told.
oh, well. Again, I'm on the board, but my baby is 47, so I don't coach anymore. I got my 50 years of coaching baseball and basketball, 11 years at soccer, but I don't know how many times that they're using it, but I know that we pay you guys more on an hourly basis than we pay Mount Vernon schools to use their gym. I think it's $40 for practice and $50 for a game at the school. And we close the gate over there and we play 2 games at one time. And so
Was there a contract signed before all this? You guys didn't know anything about this charging rate, right?
we didn't know anything about.
Was there a contract signed between us and you for the cost of anything?
Not that I'm aware of. And again, I'm a 40-year plus board member, 5-time president, but I just am not aware of it. Most of it was all handshake agreements. And we can understand COVID and everybody's charging more for everything, but it's just killing youth rec programs. So we're just up against the wall with money all the time.
If I can, to help clear a little bit, I know the council had passed the rate fee structure for the facilities, the ball fields, the gym, the kitchen, the Lions Club room, the concession stand, or the shelter house at the park. So you guys put together a rate structure on all that, and that's what we have to charge by unless you make some other concessions. But that is what the state board will hold us to, those numbers. And then I know Heath had talked to Steve, and I know the girls in their office had talked to whoever they talked to, set these up and set up all the fees. And I mean, if you're going to rent it, there's 2-hour windows. So those 2-hour windows, and it's at this price. So those fees, I'm sure, have been communicated.
What I'm saying is, what did we charge them in the past? In the past, did we not charge them?
That would be before the last rate structure that you guys approved. So I don't.
Well, what
I
I'm
don't
saying,
remember all those.
they're saying they didn't even know about the rate structure, or there's nothing signed in a contract saying, hey, guys, you gotta start paying up to this point. I don't know, Alex, I don't know, what do you, I don't know what the What's your thought, what the thoughts on that?
I mean,
Because they weren't paying for the longest time and then we never have a contract.
I have no idea. I mean, if we've got a rate schedule, like Joe said, for renting the community center, I mean, that's the
Right.
town's policy, and this is.
But do we have anything in writing with?
And then when people want, like we have the football.
Yeah, but you're assuming somebody.
For an exception, and that's, I've seen that many, many times, and you have as well. Suppose the contract with anyone in the public that's eligible to use the facilities is.
Right, but if you got a
reserve and you follow the rules and you pay what the reservation, or whether you're the optimist or.
What I'm asking you is, if I have somebody living in my rental, but I never charge them. And then all of a sudden I said, well, I'm gonna make up this thing here, but I never inform them that they have to start paying. And then I stick them with a bill at the end. And they're saying, well,
I don't think that's what happened here, is it? That's not even what happened here.
That's right. That's what I'm
I've seen the email back. I've seen the emails back and forth.
I know, but no, what I'm saying from not for the whole year. I'm not talking about up
We'd
until
have to-
now.
I mean, I don't know the details, what was agreed, saying there's handshake agreements, and so.
There better not be any handshake agreement. It needs to be.
I agree with
If,
you.
Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but if once we adopted these new rate structures, doesn't that have to be advertised before we start implementing those fees?
No, but it's, I mean, it'd be nice if we have it up. It's on the website, right? We've got.
That I can't tell you. It should be, but I'd have to go back and look. And I will say that years ago, that was one of the things that the state board did ding us for, because we were allowing somebody to use a facility that wasn't getting charged, and there was a rate structure in place and we wasn't following it.
Were there any fees charged for the previous year? Of course, that was COVID, so you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Yes, we have paid, but I don't think we've been paying like we're paying now, not these kind of fees.
What was?
Again, I don't have that in front of me. I wasn't ever the treasurer. But I'm gonna be next year. So I guess I can find out more of these things, but, we did pay, again, I moved out here in 1978 and everything was free for about 15 or 20 years. It seemed like. I know when that facility was built by the Boys and Girls Club, and then I thought the Lions Club took it over. Lions Club still has meetings there. They still have all of their posters all over the place. And we were just told, less than 2 weeks ago that the Lions Club is disbanding up here. So, I don't know if they've been using that facility too, but I guess whatever we do, we need to get some things that we have of ours, the cooking supplies and pots and pans in some of the concession stands. If we're going to rent from you guys, I assume we got to get our stuff out of there. So again, I'm just here, I want to keep an open door. We've loved you guys. We've loved the relationship, but the days of free, we understand, are over. But when I first moved out here, it was like $25 for a kid to play ball. And I think we're up to like $125. And uniforms are more expensive. Baseball, softballs are more expensive. Everything's more expensive. So we expect that rent to go up. But we also want to be good stewards there too. We have taken care of it. We've swept it. We've mopped it. We've done our due diligence over there. And we've got a long time commitment of being up here. And we want to stay here. So. The 3-page bill that I've got that you guys all have in front of you, I think the last page goes back to $8,137.50. I'm prepared to write the check out. Somebody else has signed it, but I can fill it in. But again, much like the boosters, if they're going to get a 50% discount, I'm not saying we should get 50%, but we use it. We pay you guys money. We bring money into for ball day. And I think ball day ended up as another good, successful story again this year. Kind of last minute type stuff a little bit, but we want to work with you guys. We're trying to, and but we don't have the kind of budget to throw around in multi-million-dollar budgets here.
Right. Any comments? Any,
I'd like to know the rental schedule, the rental fee schedule. I'd like to have that, is this a discounted rate that they're already getting?
It is.
It is.
25%.
Missy can vouch for that.
Like how much?
they gave them 25%.
All nonprofits get that same discount, correct?
Are you guys a 501c3?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, you can ask for more. Just like
Like the boosters.
earlier. I just feel like this is, we've known about this for quite some
Yeah,
time.
this has been going on for a while.
We want it to come to an end, and I brought a check in the effort to let's settle up and keep our eyes wide open going down the road, and let's keep working together and
I'm not against the optimists, never have been, and not from the start of this. I want you to know that. I think that our people here are not being supported like they used to be. I think you guys were, and this all might come from Steve, I don't know, but there was no communication there. We got no schedules till it was already after the fact. We need some kind of commitment from you, and that's why we have this agreement that we voted on. So we could have that commitment from you when to present those schedules to us. So that allows us to see if we can recoup some of the costs that we have to provide those fields for you. That's with other teams coming here. That was the whole purpose of this, but there was no communication. It just continued to just
I told Fritz.
disintegrate. The communication. was
Steve
never-
said, I can be president. I can be president. I've been president 5 times. Other guys have been president 3 or 4 times. Let's get a new guy in here, get some new blood in here. And I'm not saying that he's not here, but maybe he wasn't the best president we've ever had. But he didn't keep people
But
informed.
that's the only form of communication we had was with him. And then when we opened it up for your entire board, nobody spoke. The 2 guys, a couple of you spoke here at the meeting, but in all these emails that we had, nobody responded except for Steve. He was the only one that made a comment.
Right.
So we were reaching out, to get, back and forth here about what you wanted, what you needed, what we felt like was fair, but we didn't get any of that. So we voted on that agreement and there was nobody here and we voted on it. So now you're asking us to change it
The
again.
last meeting I came to, I specifically handed you my card. with
Well,
my
we
email.
give it.
Make sure you get me on that
I
list.
realize that.
And,
We were given the email list from Steve, his entire board, because he sent us an email with all their email addresses attached. I forwarded every email I had through that. I didn't go through and read everybody. He said he'd give us it. I trusted him that he'd give us everybody. I didn't go through their name for name to see who was on it, but there was 19 people on it. So, unfortunately, you were not on.
Well, here's what I do. The contract they've already voted on it last, on that. So that's done. Okay, you guys can just make your decisions off that. But I do think that, we gave the Mount Vernon boosters a 50% discount, and I'm gonna make a motion that we give the Mount Vernon Optimus a 50% discount to match the same
What?
on the tire invoice, not on the
bill. The bills, she
it
says.
is on the 80, on the 81, 87, 50. Just make it a 50% discount. That's my motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Oppose?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, Missy, you'll have to make a decision.
No.
Okay. Motion is nay, sorry.
Okay, then we'll keep working on, I can give you a check tonight to pay for that. It ain't gonna make us happy. It ain't gonna make the board happy. When you give other people 50% and we don't get it,
You get,
and we use it. We take care of it.
Okay,
It used to be, you guys want to sell that building? Because I heard the boys' school wanted to sell that when they abandoned it.
the town owns it now.
I know, but then you take it over from Lance.
We've been taking care of it for a while.
The town contributed a lot of money to building that building, plus we paid off the loan at the end. But we did purchase the building.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I
just
know,
turned
I
over.
know. And we paid a lot of money over the years. I think we had water damage. The hole in the roof was there 6 or 7 years ago. I think we paid for that. So we use it, we take care of it. And I feel like we've been mistreated tonight.
But before you sit down, can you tell me if you guys use those concession stands this year anytime?
I cannot tell you that.
You haven't.
Yeah, and we talked about that for 2 meetings. It was no, no, no. We were told we had to sign an agreement to pay so much money. $9,000 for the spring softball, baseball field, $9,000 for
It
the,
wasn't $9,000.
it was $9 per head per kid that we had,
It was
even if the kid
17
didn't play
per
any
kid.
games. This came from Steve. This is what we were told. So it was going to cost us about $9,000 for the spring, $9,000 for the fall. And honestly, we didn't put it in our budget. We didn't charge the kids for that. And we played everything up at Mount Comfort. We had a schedule that we had to go. We couldn't get together until the last month or couple of meetings. So I think that they've been using the Hampton Fields for free to have some peewee practices on. And I think our games, our only income is softball, baseball, concession stands at Mount Comfort. The fields are built around one concession
What about the
stand.
concessions here in Fortville?
We can't have a concession if we don't have a game. We couldn't get the rules straight and the money straight with you guys.
You guys were here on ball day, right?
Yes.
Did you open your concession stands?
I'll be honest, I was in Georgia with
You
grandchildren.
did not.
They
They
I
weren't
don't think
open.
they opened them because we don't have enough workers. The way they had food trucks come in. Food trucks gave us 20% or something like that of a kickback.
You had one food truck and a hot dog cart and a bounce house. That was it
Yeah.
for ball day.
Did we have a parade?
Barely.
Did we have people coming in and shopping in Fortville
I
and
don't know
spending
about
money in
that.
Fortville?
There wasn't
It
many at
was.
the park, but I
That's
can
what we
say
do
that.
every year. So we had the parade, we had, so again, I think we've been a long 50 years standing in the town and it's disappointing the way that we get treated.
All right, thank you. Department, Joe Renner.
Okay, the only item I have for you this evening is something I sent to you earlier. Dave Thompson, your plant and water superintendent, is requesting to utilize the services of Donahue for to help them get in compliance with some of the sewer treatment stuff that needs to be taken care of out there with just see, had it right here in front of me, with a compliance plan, good housekeeping, and standard operating procedures, stuff that they need to do to get in good standings with IDEM, make sure that we stay in good standings with them. For task number 1, let's see. The compensation would be just a lump sum of $19,700. And he did review other firms as well, and this is who he felt like was gonna satisfy his needs the best. Yeah.
Okay.
Joe and council, I reviewed the agreement. My only suggestion would be that we would send them our uniform services agreement to add on to that.
Okay.
That's pretty straightforward. I can send that to you and see what they say.
And he has that money on his budget?
Yes.
Okay. I don't see a problem with it.
Do you need a motion or?
Yes, to sign the contract. And I'll have you sign it actually. Agree to go into contract with me.
Yeah.
I'll get Missy.
Yeah, I already got it. Okay, thank you so much. You want me to make a copy of this? Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
I'm waiting on motion.
Oh, we need a motion?
Yeah, that's what,
Is that what you said?
yeah. Joe said we-
I make a motion to approve the task order number 1 to continue professional service agreement with Donahue for the wastewater treatment plant.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, next up, Adam. Planning and building.
Yes, really quickly.
I just wanted to remind the council and the public that on Monday, June, it's the 26th. At 6:30, we'll have what's called a public charrette here in this room. And the point of it is to take a look at the comprehensive plan land use map of the town. That particular element within the overall comprehensive plan has not been updated formally since 2014. It is out of date. And so we certainly invite any members of the public council. We'll advertise it as a public meeting, of course. Please attend. And the whole point of it is we'll look at the different areas of the town and different land uses that could be planned for that area over time. It's different than zoning. There's no impact on the zoning that you have on your property. The comprehensive plan map, that land use map, only comes into play if somebody would like to do a rezone, or if they annex into town. Should be a neat exercise for those that are interested. And we'll certainly take that feedback from the public, formulate it into a plan. The plan commission will review it, provide a recommendation, and then council would approve or deny or take no action on it. So if you have any questions on that or any other planning and zoning building items, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.
Hey, Adam, real quick note, the 25th Sunday.
Yeah.
The
Right, that's
26th
right.
Will be it's on the form as the 25th. So I'm assuming you
Yeah,
mean the
that's what I-
26th,
That's what I
right?
mentioned. Yeah, Monday, June 26th
Okay.
at 6:30 PM. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Adam? I forgot. Do anybody have any questions for Joe before I move to Adam? Okay. He's not here tonight. Joe, did he have anything he wanted you to say? Okay. Patrick.
I have nothing unless you have something for me.
How'd the blitz go?
Well, I think there were a couple oversized loads coming through town that weighed much more than allowable by state police's insight and scales. And we stopped about 9 semis, Amazon, Walmart, etc., from going eastbound, I'm sorry, on Stat Street, because they came down, made the turn, and once they made the turn, our officers were there to stop them. So I think the word got out quickly because a lot of dump trucks were going around and a lot of semis. I haven't seen many of them going down Stat Street lately.
Good. Thank you. Missy, you have anything for us?
Just one quick item. We have a little bit of a discrepancy on the council meeting minutes back from December 5th of 2022. It was about the administrative assistant for Pat. It was incorrect here. It says that it should be 20 hours a week at $20 an hour, and it's actually 25 hours a week at $20 an hour. So I just need you guys to make a motion to let me to approve the change on that. That's all.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the change in the December 2022 minutes. Reflect the correct number of hours for Patrick's assistant.
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex, you have anything for us?
I actually do. Joe was late to the meeting because I didn't catch that the first reading of the Ridgeview project, the bond ordinance. So this is like a paper bond, the same type of deal that we did for the MVAH. That is finally coming to a head. We were going to have the first reading of the ordinance tonight. And then as I'm pulling up Buzz's email and texting with Joe about the ordinance, I missed the motion and second to approve the agenda and didn't get you guys to put this on here. So you have it in front of you. The RDC met last Thursday evening. The RDC's role, if you'll recall, in this process is that they dedicate the TIF proceeds to meet the bond payment, right? So it's anticipated that by Buzz's numbers, that the assessed value of this development will, on a conservative basis, more than meet the amount of money to service these bonds. These are also developer bonds, so there's actually a buyer. It's not going to a bank. The developer actually has another group, the Hageman Group, that will purchase the bonds, and so there's really no risk to the town on that. And there will also be excess based on the conservative assessed value in TIF dollars that will go into the RDC that they'll be able to use as well. So RDC approved that. And they approved it when we talked about this in December of last year, which is the reason why this is back in front of you. The bond ask was lower. So because of inflation and cost of materials and on, additional utility issues that Joe's been working with the developer to have put in and higher expensive, what the RDC approved was to allocate an amount not to exceed $2.5 million of a bond issue. We believe that the bond amount will be 2.36 million. And that's going to be based on interest rates at the time that we close. We're hoping to have the closing the second week of July after your July 3rd council meeting. But just to have some, if rates change or whatnot, not to exceed 2.5 million. So the RDC approved that Thursday night. They've done their part. They adopted a resolution pledging the TIF proceeds not to exceed that. Your part as the fiscal body is you actually set the bond limit and the bond amount. And so what this ordinance would do would approve, in the way it's written in the second recital there, the taxable economic development revenue bond series 2023 Ridgeview West project in one series or more, aggregate not to exceed $2,500,000. So that's the $2.5 million that we would ask you to consider. I was going to have you do first reading tonight and then do the second reading on the 3rd, but I missed my opportunity to get that back on the agenda. So in order to keep the closing schedule, hopefully the council be willing to have 2 readings on the 3rd and suspend rules. And we certainly can answer any questions tonight. I've got a bunch of information. Buzz sent it to you today, Fritz. We can share it with the rest of the council, just to make sure that you all and the public are informed. And then before the council meeting at 6:30 on July 3rd, we'll have the EDC will meet. And again, this is the complicated process that the law requires. And the EDC will hopefully approve the same thing, certain actions, and they adopt a resolution to approve the not to exceed $2.5 million, the term and so forth. They have to do that. EDC has to do that before you guys can have have second reading and adopt. If you have 2 readings and adopt on July 3rd, it'll be done and we'll be able to close hopefully on, I think they're looking at July 7th. Is that right, Adam? I think, yes. Somewhere in there.
Correct.
Yeah. So apologize for not being more on the ball at the beginning of the meeting to have this on your agenda, but you've got it. And really the purpose of introducing it is to let you have this information, be able to consider it, think about it, and then take final action on the 3rd.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions for Alex? Okay, thank you. Public comment? Come on up. Sorry. We can't hear you back there.
Denise, compliment. Just a question. Is there a leash law in the town of Fortville for dogs?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was just looking at the animal ordinance and I think that there is something that, I don't know if it's a leash law, but it's, you can't let your dogs run free.
I've heard contradicting things about this. So, we're just beginning to see a lot of dogs running freely and scaring some people. So I think it just needs clarified.
So here's unlawful for the owner or person having custody or control of an animal to allow such animal to repeatedly run at large throughout the town so as to create a public nuisance. So, I mean, that's broad enough. You've got, I mean, I used to work with a guy that he had this golden lab that was trained and go jogging with him in the middle of, you know, Meridian Hills and Broderpool, and it would stop I mean, that's not really creating a nuisance. If it were my dogs, they'd be running all over being a nuisance. So I have to keep my dogs on a leash. So that's the leash law, and it's kind of broadly written.
So if you have a well-trained dog that just sticks right next to your side, he's under the control. So, yeah, of the owner's control. Right.
Yeah, if your dog's not trained, I would agree that that would be
Yeah.
a
nuisance.
violation, a
Yeah.
nuisance.
Yeah,
and a
that's what I'd
violation.
say.
And
You
so-
don't have control or be. Okay. Town comments. None?
Nothing.
Okay. I don't have any either. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve and sign vouchers?
I make a motion to approve and sign vouchers.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
8:25.
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.